This is a rebroadcast of the Eau Claire City Council meeting. The audio for this program can be heard on WRFP LP 101.9 FM. We will return to your program after a short break. Chippewa Valley Community Television is made possible by continuing community support. If you would like to volunteer or make a donation, you can contact us by calling 715-839-5067 or on the web at www.cvctv.org. The audio for this program can be heard on WRFP LP 101.9 FM. We now return you to your program. This is a rebroadcast of the Eau Claire City Council meeting.
The parking gate system would be able to tell the capacity and make sure we reserve for those users that have agreements such as QBE, should you approve it. It is for approximately a 2.5-year term through the end of 2018. The fees would be based on the full amount of what the City Council establishes as the fee and license scheduled amount for the monthly users in that facility, with some not to exceed amounts. So in terms of the amount for the remainder of this year through 2017, the monthly rate per stall would be not more than $40 per unit, and then moving up to not to exceed $44 per unit through the remainder of the term of the end of 2018. Both those amounts are in excess of our agreement with RCU, which has a little bit more discounting due to its large volume, starting out with a $38 per stall per month rate, but their use is at 230 users, and total capacity of the ramp is expected to be just over 700 vehicles. Any questions? Happy to try to answer them for you.
Okay, I see no questions. And thank you. And a motion by Council Member Zhang, seconded by Council Member Larson. Item 32 is moved. Discussion? Council Member Strobel.
I think it's great that we're starting to lease out the parking ramp. I guess I just wondered, I don't know if there's clarification. Does the revenue from that, does that go into a parking utility, or where are we pointing that revenue in a certain direction, or aren't we there yet?
Mr. Peters.
We don't have a formal or official utility, but certainly the revenue from all of our ramps and all of our parking lots is accounted for in what we call it a parking utility in our accounting function, but it's not an official parking utility. So yes, that revenue will be accounted for in our standalone parking fund.
Follow up on that. I was just thinking about this as when I went through the budget stuff. Does the revenue from this stay in the TIF, or does it go into the general fund parking utility area?
I don't know the answer to that question. I'd have to look. I'll look that up and get to you. But Dave,
looks like Mr. Solberg is offering to help.
It was my understanding, since TIF funding paid for the first 3 levels and then the general fund paid for the 4th level, that 3/4 of it would stay in the TIF and 1/4 would go into the parking through the life of the TIF. And then afterwards, when the TIF expires, then it would go into the parking fund.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any further questions? On a motion then by Council Member, let's see, where am I?
Moved by Zhang, seconded by Larson so far.
I already did that. Yep. All right, thank you. A little brain cloud there. For those of you who are Tom Hanks fans, you know about the brain cloud. There being no further discussion, clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Von Hayden.
Aye.
Worthman. Aye. Yawn.
Aye.
Beaton.
Aye.
Emanuel.
Aye.
Kincaid.
Aye.
Klinkhammer.
Aye.
Larson.
Aye.
Mitchell,
Aye.
Strobel,
Aye.
T-Wall.
Aye.
And that resolution passes. The final item on our business agenda, number 33, is a resolution amending the intergovernmental agreement with the towns on extraterritorial subdivision review. Questions from last evening? Anybody? On a motion, Councilmember Mitchell?
Where's the resolution?
It wasn't closed last evening, so perhaps
it wasn't
Mr.
last night?
Tufti might want to give a short
That's right.
overview.
He doesn't have to, I'll just look at that.
On a motion then by Councilmember Mitchell. Are you okay with that? Wasn't in last night. Yeah, he showed it on the screen. Sure. Seconded by Councilmember Emmanuel. Item 33 is moved and discussion is in order. It's good to be kind of down home once in a while. Clerk, please call the roll.
Mitchell and Emmanuel?
Yeah.
Thank you. Councilmember Workman?
Aye.
Jean?
Aye.
Eaton?
Aye.
Emmanuel?
Aye.
Kincaid?
Aye.
Klinkhammer?
Aye.
Larson?
Aye.
Mitchell?
Aye.
Strobel?
Aye.
T-Wall?
Aye.
Von Hayden?
Aye.
And that resolution passes. We move on to ordinances. We have 3 of them this evening. First, item 34, an ordinance amending the zoning code provision pertaining to public utility towers to provide consistency with recent changes to state law. Questions from our discussion last evening? There being none, on a motion by Councilmember Klinkhammer, seconded by Councilmember T-Wall. Item 34 is moved and discussion is in order. There being none, clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Jean?
Aye.
Eaton?
Aye.
Emmanuel?
Aye.
Kincaid?
Aye.
Klinkhammer?
Aye.
Larson?
Aye.
Mitchell?
Aye.
Strobel?
Aye.
T-Wall?
Aye.
Von Hayden?
Aye.
Workman?
And that ordinance is adopted. Finally, we have 2 ordinances regarding our pay plan and benefits and leaves. Item 35 being an ordinance amending the non-represented pay plan to include local 284 employees. Ms. Elton,
Good afternoon.
good afternoon.
This might take a second to...
Those ladies over there help you.
I got a little tutorial yesterday from Kathy. There we go. All right. As agenda items 35 and 36 are related, would it be appropriate to present on both at one time? Okay. This concerns the labor and trades unions, the streets, workers, parks, utilities, and custodial. Local 284, this is the former ASME unit, chose not to recertify, so their collective bargaining agreement expires on June 30th of this year. So this would be an ordinance to move them onto the non-represented pay plan. They would be placed on the pay plan according to the McGrath Consulting report, and the pay plan will be going up June 1st, 2016 across the board 1%. And had these, the ASME union stayed certified, their increase would have been dictated by, their salary increase would have been dictated by state law, which would have been the CPI increase, which would have only been 0.12%. So they will be going onto the pay plan with a 1% increase as of July 1st. And then with respect to the benefits, these individuals, their longevity was rolled into their salary for placement purposes on the salary schedule. So they are going into the plan with their longevity already rolled in. Any questions?
I'd have a couple.
Okay.
Starting with Councilmember Von Hayden, right there.
We had just completed the McGrath report or the wage study. Were these individuals considered in the wage study? And the reason I'm asking the question is that some of the employees were either under or over, depending upon their position, and so will all of these employees be evaluated on a similar basis, and if there are exceptions to the rule or wherever, they'll fall in the same procedure that the rest of the employees in the city have?
So when we did the study last, excuse me, when we did this study last year, we did include all of the 284 positions. So we included what had been non-rep positions at the time and all the 284 positions, recognizing that they were still a union and not included, but basically being prepared for if they chose not to be a union at some point, we'd be able to roll them in. So the positions were studied at the same time, they were evaluated, the employees went through the same process and all of that. And actually those wage scales have been adjusted, with the other ones as we went along, but they just haven't officially been included in the ordinance. So it's been running parallel with the evaluation, with the understanding that if 284 decided not to become a union at one point, they would just be rolled in with everybody else, and that's what the action is before you tonight.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that they were receiving the same consideration that all other employees within the city currently have.
That's correct, including the elimination of the longevity as a fringe benefit, and the fact that to those employees who were receiving longevity, that was included and factored in when they would be moved over to the new pay plan, just like we did everybody else on January 1st.
Thank you.
Councilmember Klinkhammer.
Thank you. Was this would be for Mr. Peters, I think. Was this action anticipated in the 2016 budget?
Yes.
Okay.
Councilmember Beaton.
If this group ever chooses to go back to their original status, can they do that? Maybe a decade down the road, or is this permanent, this change?
Mr. Peters.
Thank you. Yes, state law does provide for a recertification process. They would have to receive a certain number of votes, and I forget what the percentage is, but they'd have to have a certain number of people indicating that they want to recertify as a union, and then they would have to take a vote, in which case they can recertify as a union. Keep in mind, though, even if they recertified under the current law, they could only bargain for base wages, and you saw the impact of the base wage rule and the laws, which would have only allowed for a 0.12% wage increase for them at this point.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you, Ms. Selton.
Okay,
Thank you very much. On a motion then by Councilmember Von Hayden, seconded by Councilmember Strobel, item 35 is moved and discussion is in order. Councilmember Emanuel.
Thank you, Madam President. I think this is a somber evening for collective bargaining in our community. I think because of a decision made by the state legislature 5 years ago, some of the city workers were forced with a fundamentally unfair question. Do I choose to be in a collective bargaining unit for an increase of 0.12%, or do I forego that percentage and that CPI index and go for what everybody else in the city is paid? I think it's a very unfair thing for an employee to have to consider when every employee should be treated fairly. I support the union's decision to make this request and for the steps to go forward. And I only support it in the context of it's a very somber decision to have to make. And I think it's an unfair thing that the group had to even consider.
Thank you. Further discussion? There being none, clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Beaton.
Aye.
Emanuel.
Aye.
Kincaid.
Aye.
Klinkhammer.
Aye.
Larson.
Aye.
Mitchell.
Aye.
Strobel.
Aye.
T-Wall.
Aye.
Von Hayden.
Aye.
Worthman. Jean.
Aye.
And that ordinance is adopted. Our final action tonight, item 36, is an ordinance amending the city code entitled City of Eau Claire Employee Benefits and Leaves, particularly pertaining to those parts of pertaining to longevity for local 284 employees. If you had a question arise, you could still ask a question. If not, on a motion by Councilmember Beaton, seconded by Councilmember Worthman, item 36 is moved. Discussion? There being none, clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Emmanuel,
Aye.
Kincaid.
Aye.
Klinkhammer,
Aye.
Larson,
No.
Mitchell,
Aye.
Strobel,
Aye.
T-Wall,
Aye.
Von Hayden,
Aye.
Worthman, John,
Aye.
Eden.
Aye.
And that ordinance is adopted. One ordinance for introduction, an ordinance rezoning property at 3315 South Hastings Way from R1 and TR1 to C3P, and to adopt a general development plan for a mini storage facility. Does council wish to suspend the rules and take up this item tonight? I do not see that desire at hand. Announcements and directives are then in order. Mr. Peters.
Thank you, Madam President. Two announcements for meetings. This Friday is the Eggs and Issues at 7 o'clock in the morning. If you're interested in going, please contact Kathy. And then for your calendars, just a reminder that after the meeting on June 28th, we'll have our first budget session meeting. So make sure that you set a little extra time for that. And then the other announcement that I would have is just a thank you to some staff at Parks and Streets and Recreation, Information Services, Fire and Police, and Linda in the manager's office all worked very hard to pull together an initiative for increasing block parties in the community. And that was kicked off today with an online process, and I won't go into the details on that. You saw that in your update, but really appreciate the different departments coming together to make that initiative go forward.
Thank you. Councilmember Mitchell.
Thank you. And I'd like to thank the Public Works Department and all of the city staff, the police, fire that responded to the storm this weekend. Our neighborhood was hit pretty bad, and I want to thank the city clerk for taking my call to say that the tree was down across the street from my house because I didn't know who else to call, and she took care of it for me. So it was a really good effort, and things, at least in our neighborhood, were cleaned up really fast, so we appreciate it.
Other announcements and directives? There being no further business then to come before this body on a motion by Councilmember Beaton, seconded by Councilmember Zhang. We are adjourned without objection.
This was a rebroadcast of the Eau Claire City Council meeting. This program was recorded and presented by Chippewa Valley Community Television. Chippewa Valley Community Television is made possible by continuing community support. If you would like to volunteer or make a donation, you can contact us by calling 715-839-5067 or on the web at www.cvctv.org.